our military in retreat. We've never had a military retreat before.
You put the May 1st date on the calendar.
I mean, why would you leave 80?
Why would you leave?
Or $85 billion?
I don't know. Find somebody who used to be president. They can tell you the real number. 83 to 85. It's a ballpark.
Worth of equipment. Why would you leave brand new Black Hawk helicopters?
Because they didn't.
The greatest machine. Why would you leave?
Obviously, that's not even close to true. I mean, all respect to the guys behind there's a lot of technology in an Apache or a Black Hawk, but have you held a Theragun? Have you used the thing? It's spectacular. I mean, clearly this is a man who's never laid in a massage chair.
Millions and millions. Why, as an example, there was no reason. No. We had it so under control. We were getting the hell out of there.
We were what? We were getting the hell out of there. You mean like retreating? Okay, so please continue. We were retreating. Yes?
Everybody would have come out. We would have then taken the equipment. I even gave an expression. I want every screw, every bolt, every nail.
Yeah, that's an expression. It goes way back in his family. I want every screw, every bolt, every nail. I say that every Christmas.
I want the tents that the equipment is. I want it.
They're not in tents. He's talking about Quonset huts and hangars.
Millie said to me one time, I'll never forget it, sir.
Sir. Yeah, everybody talks like that. Jesus.
It's more expensive. It's more expensive, sir, to take the equipment than to leave it. I said, really? You mean you have a $10 million tank? You put it on a plane and that's more expensive than leaving it?
Yes.
He said, it's more expensive. And I never forgot that statement because that's probably the first time I realized that he was stupid. But you know what I did?
Oh, really? Really? When did you discuss this with him? About it was more expensive to take everything. Oh, during the magic plan?
I said, so we have...
Yeah, that's a good point, Timo. There are a lot of nails used in the construction of a Black Hawk helicopter.
New aircraft just out of the factory, and it's sitting on the runways, and our...
Yeah, there's a factory right there, just out of the factory, and it's sitting there on the runway. You do realize we left with all the good ones, and the ones that we left behind were the ones we gave to the Afghan military.
Soldiers are fleeing and surrendering to guys with knives. Good fighters, by the way, but guys with knives.
Oh, our soldiers... So you're saying our soldiers served dishonorably. What was that again?
Out of the factory, and it's sitting on the runways, and our soldiers are fleeing and surrendering to guys with knives. Good.
Fuck you. This is the same asshole who's saying 13 chairs over there for everybody dead. Our soldiers were fleeing from guys with knives and surrendering. He is accusing our military, and not like generals. He's talking about American soldiers. Donald Trump is saying that they fled and surrendered. I guess the ones that stayed surrendered and the ones that fled just left the ones that surrendered behind. Fuck you. And by the way, Republicans, Trumpers, maggots, people who support this asshole, this is on you. This is all you. The former president of the United States just said that our soldiers fled and surrendered to guys with knives. And you're okay with this. You are all in on this motherfucker saying that our soldiers fled and surrendered to, quote, guys with knives. I don't want to hear any shit about him being a patriot and a lover of the flag and the military. It's nonsense. It's always been nonsense. It will always be nonsense. But fuck you. People died in this process. They didn't flee. People weren't killed fleeing their posts when the suicide bomber ripped his vest and killed everybody. Fuck you. Shame on you. I just got back from Arlington when I was in D.C., there are people buried at Arlington that died during his presidency. And this motherfucker is saying that the soldiers that were still in Afghanistan fled and surrendered. All right, I have to move on from this beat because I will get too outraged to be funny. Can we transition back to... We're just centering and fuck you! I'm sorry. I'm all right. I'm holding it together. God damn this asshole.
Fighters, by the way, but guys with knives that I got along with very well. They understood.
Yeah, you got along with the guys with knives who our soldiers retreated from. What a fucking pathetic pig.
They're not going to screw around. I almost used the F word. And you know, it would have been more effective if I did, but they would have.
What? Nobody cares.
Word. And you know,
who cares?
By the way, but guys with knives that I got along with very well. They understood. They're not going to screw around. I almost used the F word. And you know, it would have been more effective if I did, but they would have. He used a horrible word, so I didn't do it. Remember, I didn't do it.
You don't get points for not swearing as a formal president. You get 0 points for not doing F-bombs as a former president. You fucking goon.
It would have been so much more effective if I used it, Lord.
No. It would have been pitifully offensive and pathetic, but no.
Maybe later on. But
yeah, that'll keep them interested for the rest of the speech. Maybe I'll say fuck.
But with Millie and with all these people, they flee. I said, why wouldn't you have brought in 200 pilots? 200, we have the best pilots in the world. We have the best soldiers in the world. We have the best military in the world.
Yeah, they're the best at what? Fleeing and surrendering? Fuck off.
I rebuilt the military. Space Force? Don't forget Space Force.
Yeah. Oh, no, you know what? We're talking about Afghanistan. How could I forget Space Force? Which got a branding makeover.
Rebuilt. So why wouldn't you bring over...
It rebuilt Space Force. There you go. A little bit of truth squeaked out.
Real fast.
You meant
First
to
of
say
all, you shouldn't have left anything behind. So I don't even like this idea. But assuming they really wanted to leave it behind because they're stupid, why would...
Or because we're talking about the material aid we gave to the Afghan military so that they could fight back against the Taliban, and we left before they collapsed, which was, you know, they were only not collapsing because we were there.
You bring over 200 pilots, just take the planes and fly them to Pakistan.
Yeah, that should be safe. You should be able to get a helicopter from Jalalabad to Pakistan on one tank of gas. They won't have to land in a dangerous place and Jesus Christ. You know, just fly guys in, take it. Yeah, those are helicopters that were meant for the Afghan military to use. If we take them, they've got nothing, and we're hoping that they can keep the Taliban at bay until we're out of the country. So, months ago, you should have just...
And you bring them over, or fly them to some other country of which we give them all so much money that they all treat us well, okay? You know, we get ripped off by everybody. But why wouldn't you fly the planes out? Instead, they leave the planes. And then they said, because they were so embarrassed, because they probably didn't even know what they were doing. They had no idea what they were doing. They said, no, well, we disabled it. You know what they did? They let the air out of a couple of tires of one plane.
Fuck you. Our soldiers stuck around longer than they had to, loosening every bolt on the fucking thing, throwing thermite grenades in these goddamn things. They spent time taking the guns off, taking the missiles off, extracting all the necessary navigation material out of it, like the nav equipment that was in there. Let the air out of the tires. And everybody at this rally is just fine with him pissing on the troops like this. This is fine. This is okay with him. Yes, they demilitarized them. Jesus Christ.
They didn't disable anything. These guys have...
No, our soldiers, what our soldiers just handed over them, they were told to demilitarize them and disable them, but they They didn't. They just let them because what? Our military service people are lazy. Is that that's the assertion? Fucking hell.
The best equipment anywhere in the world. They're probably the best armed soldiers and equipped soldiers in the world. They have goggles, the likes of which the goggles, the night goggles, they call them.
Is that what they call night goggles?
See at night better than I can at 12 o'clock in the afternoon with the sun. That's how good they are. Better than our soldiers have the latest models. And they have thousands and thousands. They have hundreds of thousands of...
Oh, my God. Night vision. How will we ever... Oh, God.
Rifles and weapons and machine guns. Hundreds of... We left it there. And there was no reason to leave it there. We could have taken a year, 2 years, 4 years.
Yeah, he was never fucking leaving. There you go. That's it. He was never going to fucking leave. May 5th was bullshit. He was going to use it as an excuse. They were going to put more troops in. If they stayed past the May 5th deadline, everybody told him you'd have to add 10,000 troops. There's no fucking way. I wanted to get out of there. I wanted to get out of there better than I wanted to get out. We were getting the hell out of there. Wow, we got a bullshit. Listen to this. Listen to this bullshit.
To leave it there. We could have taken a year, 2 years, 4 years, or 2 months to get the hell out. There was no reason. We had them so at bay. They weren't going to play games because they knew that if they did, they were going to get hit harder than any nation has ever been hit.
What does that even First of all, Japan would like a word, and so would Germany. But for fuck's sake, what does that mean? What are you going to threaten to blow up the areas they don't have control of yet?
Their home, because it's all about their home, because they were never hit at their home. But we know where their homes are. And we were going to hit them very hard. And they understood that. That's why.
Yeah, and it's really hard for Taliban terrorist cells to move their home.
I told you before, 18 months we didn't have one soldier killed. And even
because that was the agreement.
Said that. It was a mistake. He said, well, I will say that no soldiers have been killed in 18 months. And his people are screaming at him, don't say that, you stupid son of a bitch.
And still, look at this. That's his big. Look, this is a big applause line. And you know that's the. It's kind of like in old 80s hair metal bands when somebody would say ass in a song. There's a Rat song where like sometimes you're just a pain in the ass, and there's a guitar solo right after it like we said ass, we said ass, we said ass, we said ass, and we got away with it, got away with it, got away with it, got away with it. Right? That's the whole like, I swore and that drive. Right now, expect more swearing as he goes forward because he's not moving anybody with the information. It's driving him crazy. But again, that's his thing. You stupid son of a bitch. Who is now president and you are not? And that reminds him of it. And look at his face. Look at it. He called Biden that. See? Look at that. He can't even enjoy it. Look at this. You need to understand how gorgeous this is. Yes, he's miserable, and I'm for it. Look at him. Look at him. Oh, it's so good. He's even doing the whole like jaw clench. He's so upset.